morning, heading out to work. And I have seen this topic popping up. Here we go again. You know, I'm assuming Bass and even MLF are going to start talking about banning Livescope. And I seen Brian Latimer say that, you know, people are always going to vote for the rules that suit them. And even Rick Clunn liked that statement. And a lot of anglers have liked that statement. And I see them talking a lot about it, right? And first I want to address, I see fans saying, oh, top angler pros shouldn't use it, or it makes the tournaments boring. And when you watch these smallmouth tournaments, they are absolutely boring. Watching the guys sit there and watch the screen. But if you didn't have that, what would they look at? The screen, as they're trying to keep themselves on GPS points. When you're out in the middle of an ocean, what do you look at? The sky, the ground, the water. You're in the middle of an ocean. The fact is, this is just a point to hop on forward-facing sonar as a reason to ban it, than an actual reason to. There's no actual reason to ban it. If you're out in the middle, people have been using 2D sonar to drop shots forever. They've done this forever. It's not something that's new. People are just that don't like Livescope have used this as ammunition to get on the ban Livescope thing. If they do ban it, they'll lose a lot of sponsorship dollars. I can promise you that. So I doubt they're going to do that. But they may. You never know. But the people that want it banned are mostly the older anglers and the anglers that are not relative anymore, because it is eliminating them from winning tournaments. These guys that were once great, Rick Clunn, Larry Nixon, even Kevin Van Dam, it eliminates them. Because they don't want to learn how to use it. They're very, very stubborn. And they fail to adapt. Does that mean people like John Cox, who just says, I'm not using it, but you don't hear him crying because of it? He just goes out and wins tournaments. So is it a failure to adapt, or is the sport just kind of passed them by? There was times when 14, 15-pound stringers, that was a good stringer. Now they get you in 80th place. The game has changed. People are better at catching those 5-fish limits and targeting bigger fish. They're exploring areas. And I know that people are thinking, some of the older anglers are thinking, man, if we eliminate this, then we can get back down to those 15-pound stringers, and that'll bring me back into the game. I don't think it's going to bring them back into the game, period. These guys have learned how to fish offshore better. They've learned how to fish using waypoints and things like that better, and mapping and side imaging. I think this is just pushed by a group of anglers. And I even see the comments of the guys, you're not a real fisherman if you use Livescope. When I hear that, I wonder, where do they draw the line in technology? Do they, excuse me, do they draw the line in technology at Livescope? Or is it side imaging? Or do we go all back to black and white paper grabs? Or do we go all the way back to flashers, little green boxes? And where do you stop the line? And usually you stop wanting it to develop at the point in which you stop being good at it. And that is usually where you want it to be banned, is where you can't go any further. And that really is what makes me mad about it. Now, if they're wanting to make it, and even in the tournaments, ban Livescope, at which point do you say, we need to go no electronics at all? Because some guys are very, very good with mapping. Some guys are very, very good with side imaging. Some are amazing at 2D sonar. Where is the line you draw there? And this is all being spurred upon by guys who are not relevant. You don't hear the top guys griping about this. I don't hear Jacob Wheeler griping about this. I don't hear, all the younger guys that are doing this, Kyle Welcher, he doesn't use forward-facing sonar a lot, and he just won Angler of the Year. But even if he does, you don't hear him griping a lot about it. It's a lot of the older guys starting to gripe and starting to complain because they're not relative and they're finna lose their way of living, and I get that. But if I knew something was beating me, if I knew, and I'll use a baseball analogy. If I see that hitting home runs is what keeps me in the major leagues, and I'm hitting for average, and that's passing me by, I'm gonna go out and try to learn a swing, put the weight on, develop the weight, go into the weight room, and try to develop something that lets me hit home runs more. I'm gonna go in the way that I need to go to be competitive and learn how to do it. When the guys went to the no limit in the MLF, they all changed how they fished, and then they went back to 5 fish, and some of them adapted, some of them didn't. It's always made, the rules are always made by people and that are going to choose the rules based on what is perfect for them, that's okay. But you can't, if I don't like guns, I love guns, by the way, but if I didn't like guns, or I don't hunt as much anymore, but if I don't like hunting or don't go hunting, does that mean outlaw hunting? No, I just don't go hunting. Do like John Cox. If you don't like forward face, don't use it. If you don't like trolling motors with spot locks, don't use them. That's John Cox. There are different ways to look at it. You shouldn't outlaw something just because you don't know how to use it. You either learn how to use it, use your way to catch bigger fish, or quit. Move on. Let some of the younger guys. We got some of these guys hanging on for 40 years that ain't been relative in 20. It's time to go. KVD, GOAT. But it was time. Yeah, he won a tournament last year, but if it had been 10 more minutes, he'd have got his tail whooped by Jacob Wheeler. But the time for him to go was, he's really not relative. He's a middle-of-the-pack guy now. Whatever that reason may be, whether it may be he doesn't work as hard at practicing, or he was always been a big fish, 5 fish kind of guy. Whether it be, he doesn't work as hard anymore, doesn't have the commitment anymore, or maybe he is, he even says it in a lot of his videos. His knowledge and stubbornness now is becoming his Achilles heel, because a lot of times when he knows he needs to move, or he knows he needs to change baits, that thought kicks in his head. Man, I caught a lot of big fish on this crankbait. I'll stay here, or I'll stay with it. And that stubbornness has finally got him where, he doesn't change baits as often. He doesn't move as often. He doesn't make the moves. He doesn't trust his gut like he used to. He trusts more of his history. And that is why he even says, I don't think I'm as good anymore, because I stick to the baits that I know instead of trying new techniques or those type of deals. So definitely a big change coming. But I would say that a lot of it's pushed by the people who are not as relevant anymore, and the fans who seem to hate it. Oh, that ain't fishing. Don't use it. Don't use it. If you don't like something, don't use it. Why do you continue to gripe about something you don't like? I don't like monofilament or fluorocarbon. Guess what? I don't use it. I just use braid. I don't like going down the bank beating death. So I don't do it. When I go fishing in the summertime, guess what I do? I like to fish a frog. I don't like to fish crankbaits and stuff like that anymore. I like to fish frog because it's fun. I do it. And I don't go outlaw crankbait because I don't fish that thing. I don't like doing it. I don't do it. I choose a frog. Guys, it's so stupid to ban something just because you're not good, or you feel like you're becoming irrelevant. Go do you. And if you ain't good enough, move on. That's why they need to change the criteria for qualifying for these tour trails. Got too many people hanging on. Too many people hanging on. It's time to go. It's time to go. Some of them need to go. And then the one they needed to let back in, and he couldn't find a sponsor, that's Roland Martin. I would have loved to have seen how but chances are he got his brain smashed in also. But guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Ring the bell.